All right, before every podcast, here and after this date, I'll just include a little memory. So the memory of somebody always asking me the origin. Why don't you put some photos together? I love to see where you've been. I love to see your travels. Why was that person so influential? Why did their words stick throughout my entire life? Now that I'm understanding the psychology of things, I can actually make sense of it. The next step is to do the research. Because I can read today because I responded to someone immediately, and technology is not a trigger for the first time ever. I understand how threads work. I don't feel that this is someone who's stalking me, or the memory that this is a real person I don't have to question is fading away. Anyway, for those that have not understood, I use my voice to put those triggers away because I didn't have the other skill sets that I'm used to.
I've also used my voice to combat the PTSD specifically of those that practice denial, whether that's a non-response, whether that's using words and phrases and comments that are really reprehensible, name-calling, putting down, and trying to construct a narrative of abuses I suffered decades ago that I never had to share with anyone being the main cause of actions that these people took. This is a little confusing. I just know that every time I use my voice, I am fighting for my life. Again, I'm a little under the weather, so I'm listening to myself, editing. I can hear it. I can match the lines on this is iMovie with the sounds for the first time in a long time. So I think it sounds a lot better, but I'm listening and adding commentary. I hear myself repeat things all the time. I'm repeating it to hold on to it, because once it was gone, I realized I didn't have it anymore. So if I didn't have a pencil or a pen or a paper in the room, had a thought, I'd walk into another room, and once I got through a threshold, it was gone. So I practiced, and repeating was a strategy then. I don't need it anymore. I kind of stuck. And I also realized what I was doing was making sure my voice was always over their voice. It's always sort of an emotional, psychological part to this, connected to being a school teacher, connected to something I had learned in the past that was inside of me, not knowing I was going to utilize this to survive. And unless you're a school teacher, unless you do special ed, unless you understand progress monitoring and what I'm doing, and that it's the law for these kids, the ones that are having the mental health issues, I guess no one will understand it. But I have made such huge advances in my own life and decision-making and recognizing behaviors that I've been doing. A lot of things I recognize behaviors that I've been doing that can't sustain themselves with the injuries, symptoms of vertigo, traumatic brain injury, and especially being taken advantage of, be the ultimate trigger. I think that's what mental health is. A lot of people can get through it, and that's what I did. I actually made things better for the people that were being abusive, not even realizing it because of my fear of confrontation. Maybe the realization and shock that this is going to be forever, because I can't change the fact that I do care about others and I want to help them through their traumas, and yet I also cannot hear about your stupid ass traumas anymore. No, that's wrong. I do. But more than ever, I want to hear what you're doing about it and what you've done about it and what you're willing to do to put it away so that you don't negatively affect people, because people suck you into these stories. It's not necessary. Good decision making starts with facts, and that's all I know. I'm letting go of everyone in my life during this injury that took advantage of traumatic brain injury because I didn't get it. Waking up every day, like every day's a new day, getting ready for the day, getting ready to fight the system. Now, just remind my students that the stuff that happened is fading, thank goodness. The remainder is simply, there's other people that have gone through this much far worse than I, and there's people going through it now. So do we want to be a society that actually is willing to not choose the money? That's it. Ding, ding, ding. I got it. What happens when you choose the money? Well, don't make it your priority. And that's what it's all about. All right. I want to prioritize the individuals that have helped me. I want to recognize that I don't know a way out of this loop-to-loop of trauma that's been created. But if I absolutely have to, I will use whatever I can to continue to make sense of what happened, because I did move on. The problem is the trauma has not stopped, and I have knowledge of how people use what they know about you to do harm. When the easiest choice, quite frankly, what happens when you choose the money? Don't make it your priority. It's so simple. Admit your mistakes. Don't go to bed angry. Give more than take. And above all, just breathe. Okay. Breathing was the hardest thing. I think what I want to do is make a community for people with chronic pain so I can get through this last bit, elevate the people that I met in my life who have helped, including professionals, but also individuals in these CBD and DBT groups who heard a different voice back then. And I don't think I'll ever get that voice back. But at the very minimum, I will write these letters and try to find my new passion. It can't be education anymore because that was attached to the histories and the pain because I just flipped it to make it the best. But internally, no. Oh, I know. Belief in true love. That's what it is. I know the community I want to help. All of those that don't believe in finding a partner that will not just accept them, but give them a chance to be comfortable in a body that was not mine, instead of those that took advantage of a body that I had to share. Hey, I'm uncomfortable. This is why. So they understood for themselves so they can make better choices, but then took advantage of. All right. I think I summed it up pretty good. And the next bit is to say I am different because I don't share my hopes and dreams and ideas and anything with people anymore. I always thought that's that good positive energy being out there helps someone during their day. You can still do it, of course, but until I give thanks to those that showed me you don't have to do that anymore, then see if it's something that I still want to do. Not from I have to because I'm just a vessel for pain. That was really my thinking. Kidding me? No, I am just doing my best to make it through this life. To be aware. And at the very end, like everyone else, no fear when it all comes to a close. Individuals who I share things with, belief systems, ideas, hopes, dreams, my writing, and no more, because they will use that information and definitely take advantage.
It was so different. But being a special educator, I'm not scared of difference. I elevate it. Without the behaviors of those that continue to be themselves, eyes bugging out of their heads, and me being real in the moment to say, I'm going to stand my ground. I'm going to say exactly what I want to say. I'm going to say exactly what I want to say, which is no more. And oh my God, the reaction. It's incredible. The connective thread between all these places, spaces, people, industries, companies, charities, truly is, they don't want to be questioned. And who originally told me that? So the memory of somebody always asking me the origin. And that's why you have to keep pressing in. So I was in somebody's therapy sessions. I know it's a little weird to attend someone's therapy sessions, but I had to be there for everything. This was my role because of the trauma that this person had explained. And yet they lied first session. And that's when I knew, oh my gosh, what am I dealing with? Something I've not been aware of, exposed to. If you do go through these podcasts, you must not deny, how can you, that my voice is different. And the visual audio cues and the list of, oh my goodness, complaints that people dump on you and the thinking that I had. That's why when I went to CBT, DBT, cognitive and dialectical behavioral training, they're right. You got to catch the behavior. You got to describe the trigger. You got to catch the emotion. You got to catch the feeling. And if you can't catch those, then you can't stop them. All right? So I remember all my thoughts. I'm very aware of my thinking. I've been this way forever. But it's because, I guess it's because I've had PTSD my whole life, which was the argument of individuals that said, nope, we're not going to take responsibility for what happened to those kids with special needs in 2012, 13, 14, and 15. And I said, okay, that's not surprising. But what was surprising was that they continue to do so. Do they not think a teacher is trained at some sort of behavioralism, data collection, accurate record keeping, and that morality bit? And you become a specialist? So those who engage in bystander abuse, you're on replay. And how long, how patient does one need to be? For those that remember my voice, that have heard me and said, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I agree with you, or you have such passion for this. You're not going to stand up for me now? All right. And that's what the survivor victim patient needs to know. I don't identify as one, quite frankly, but I see that the population is very similar to me because I've been a patient of neurology, orthopedic surgery, endocrinology, physical, occupational therapies, and so forth. Is this a normal way to speak? No. So what do you think is happening? And that's why when people instantly react to things without understanding the bigger picture, that goes back to those parents the first year who were unable to see that their role as parents to kids with special needs is to be their advocate. This isn't about you. It's about making sure your child has the skills to be functional, happy, and able to do anything that everyone else wants to do if that's what they want to do. This is the first time hearing my voice, and I think I finally woke up to the fact that those that don't understand this are the very ones that have created this advocacy, because I've been waiting patiently, giving you the opportunity to show you, hey, see how this ends? Don't you feel different? But they never even allowed themselves the chance, because all they could see was one thing, how they can take. And that's why my curriculum is all about give everything away. You want to be happy in life, you want to be content in life, you want to not have these mental anguish in life. Well, I have some ideas, and I'm liking, I like to share them now. The first thing in policy is you should get your doctor's record visit summary right away. I used to do this at Northwestern Memorial Hospital, made them print it out, and any mistakes, I would make them correct it. Now you have to go through a whole bunch of leaps and hurdles, and the doctor doesn't have to write the visit summary, but they used to. So I think that was totally appropriate. I think they changed it because they recognized that inaccurate record keeping is should be a standard in healthcare, and yet it is not. All right, I'm going to go through some audio because I can hear my voice finally and put this together. So like I said, from this moment on, there'll be a little introduction, and then I'll share a podcast, because I don't have to say I'm Smarty MC, smarter than trauma, because that was putting away my students calling themselves stupid, as well as compare Smarty, which is my godfather, which was the first Periscope, and obviously art, that creative spark that happened in Lincoln Park. I'm not going to be able to tell this story if I can't say the names of the cities. And all that's required are interested people to ask questions and be okay with difference. The individuals that went boom, meaning what they said and did was so quick and connected to the situation, you're stuck in that moment. That's the purpose of PTSD. So if you are struggling, suffering, or have a loved one who is struggling, suffering with PTSD, a diagnosis that means a biological uptick that makes things very uncomfortable, confusing, and because I have chronic pain, I kind of get an indicator before it's happening. Just know, I have not heard my voice in a long time. And I think tonight, thank God, I get to hear it, because I got to identify what people will absolutely do. And it's pretty stupid. That's the last time I say that word. I never say that word, and that's why I had to let it out to hear it. That's the behavior, and I'm really glad I did. Nobody should have anyone in their lives who, aren't genuine and who are, using you as much as they possibly can. How do I know? Because I've always had that question. I was confused. What's going on? And that goes back to anxiety, sobriety, and her confusion. So you can be genuinely confused, or you can pretend. Did you know that? People fake this stuff. They fake mental health. They fake it all. And I just couldn't understand it, and now I absolutely do. Huh? What? I'm confused. About what? The contradiction you just said? No. You throw everything against me that you don't understand because you don't want to be questioned. The words of the person I was in their therapy sessions with. And if that therapist accurately reported, which I don't think they did, who knows? I just know that I don't have access to that or a date that was very important for me to move on in my life. And that's why you should be able to get those records right away, because if things happen, the interpretation is where we fall apart in this concept of helping others, in this concept of healthcare. All right, thank you for listening, and I'll just talk to you later. I'm not anything anymore. I'm not an MC, I'm not a teacher, I'm not an advocate. I think I'm just myself, and what I want to do is, I have to figure that out. Because that was the question. What is she going to do about what is she going to do? Oh my gosh. And this anxiety affected someone else who pretty much showed me how dangerous it is when you need validation from others. And if you have any sort of insecurity, invalidation, inadequacy, the abnormal personality behavior traits. And I've been exposed to that for a very long time. All right, I thought I was putting all of this adrenaline and energy into the things that absolutely stop trauma, which is, in my mind, food, the arts, travel, music, and blank, whatever you think. What has helped you through your trauma? What I'd like to do, I know what I'd like to do actually, is elevate the voices of those, because those are the voices that have been oppressed. And the specialists need to start listening to their survivor, victims, patients, if they earnestly would like to help them. They're all here. They're talking to you. I'm listening to them, and I'm learning from y'all every day. So thank you. All right, I'm going to now start getting rid of some things and try to start writing down some of the steps, because it's so individualized. I didn't know how I wanted to present this project, but I do know that If you can find the origin of each trigger and give it back to the person, try that. And eventually, took me a while, but eventually you'll learn that you don't have to put up with it anymore. I thought I had to. I thought that was my job in life. How sad. And I don't know whoa. I think I know why. Because from a very early age, I was exposed to, stuff I didn't understand until now. All right, what you're going to hear now is just a bunch of noise. It's the voice comparison, but also me wanting to get rid of 3 hours a month and me.
3 hours a month is really hard when you're being triggered by the monthly board meetings, and 1 minute seems like a pretty strong go. Anyway, yeah, I made the deadline last month. Things are much better. October, November, I made some major gains because I was waking up at 4 a.m, triggering with really bad violence, and decided to confront those individuals, at least take the first step. I, of course, use the internet, mostly Twitter, to confront in a very passive-aggressive way to try to see if it can contain there, but the companies read it and then deleted me or blocked me, so I was like, okay, a quick response, like, I'm so sorry this happened to you. Obviously, this is really difficult to understand, but did this help? I would have said yes, greatly, and that would have been enough. These single acts of kindness, because the kindness that was not present is the scariest thing of all. And these are people I've known, and that's the problem. Colleagues. Let's not get into it. Yeah, that list to testify against my students. Our students. I couldn't say the word "our" because of the word incontinent brings up. You say a letter, you say a word, you say a sound. It reminds you of other things, and that's the strange things. There's a magazine in Detroit called Our Detroit, HOUR, and that was the visual that would pop up. I would feel the weight of the magazine. It's a big one. It's glossy. And I thought, okay, what's happening? I can't share everything that happened, but I'm going to share what I can, because a lot of it has gone. And that's why I say, keep working at it until the most important things do remain. They will remain. They must remain. And it is the stuff from our past, the good charity work that people are doing now. Thank you. But the professionals, I want to focus on the professionals.
Meet my deadline to get rid of suicide. I've not had it for a very long time. And what I credit it is the physical recovery in my body, because I'm able to sit with this longer and also make decisions. That is absolutely use the names of those that you would review. Try not to use the names of those that you would not review, but in your own personal life, make those boundaries. And if they can't follow them, say goodbye. Thank you.
All right, I posted a video I just created. It's
Let's just delete this and move on to the next topics. I keep trying to get back to American politics every day, listening to it, and maybe that's what I have to do tomorrow. Just listen to the news. Let's try that and see what happens. That should be the equal amount of energy to get through my office to look for a couple things. All right, that will be the plan tomorrow.
you can't believe something because you can't see it. That's sort of like chronic pain. Anyway, I just know that American politics is no longer triggering, and I need to get back to it because they're the ones that gave me the best voices. And plus, that was part of my routine every day. I would read the paper, watch PBS NewsHour. I believe the person is Scott Pelley. His name, but his voice was a safe space. Before I could get to American politics, I actually listened to CBC and then a lot of international news on YouTube.
It gives you a sense of like what was going on back then. Oh, kids at play. Looks like a boxing match. Kids at play. Wow, there's no little history about those. That's great.
Go out of your comfort zone. Be open to the things that people are trying to tell you, because I wasn't going to come across these things because I was purposely avoiding it. TV, media, technology, the trauma that only one person ever needed to know before I decided, well, I guess I'll have to change myself. If you know more about me than I know about me, that's not a good place to be in, and that's when a predator can really take advantage. So I'm staying open and, I'm not really watching, but listening. And if I hear something, I rewind. And I heard something.
Coveted hotel. What's that mean? 5-star celebrity stay at. Shut up.
I'm going to fill this up so photo enforcement comes back.
So the word coveted is part of this language of people repeating themselves, like the senior vice president in an interview saying, I told her it was part-time only. She said it 8 times within a minute. And that's why I'm tracking the data. People, just let them talk. Let them be who they are, and they will show you exactly who they are. So the word coveted, that's going back to the principle principal discussion for parent choice, but the principal wasn't there. I was going to show up just to remove the adrenaline so I could say to him, enough is enough. Look at my face. You didn't kill me. I will resign from education on my terms, and I want to put this fear out of my body. Now, the fact that he wasn't there and instead the diverse case manager was there is perfectly fine, because she used the words coveted and she explained the selective enrollment process for high school, which I really didn't know about or understand, because I work with primary special education. I don't do transitional IEPs. That means from 8th grade to high school. And that's when you want those good grades, because to get into these really posh schools, there's only a handful of them. I mean, there's less than 13. I think there's 11. I'm saying 13 because I think the diverse case manager said that there were 13. And I said, I don't think there's 13. I think there's even less than that. Anyway, you can Google it. This was years ago. Maybe there's more selective enrollment high schools now. But I just remember thinking, well, that's not accurate. If this is your profession, you should know the facts, the basic facts, correct?
When you are using technology to end trauma, just remember, mine is a back and forth toggle between stabbed, choked, slapped, punched, pressed down upon, verbally abused, all this shit. And then the back and forth between homework, work, home, night, day. And that's why I think I lost all these skills. And that's why I think I lost the sense of time. So the violence was everywhere, but I survived somehow. And that's what I'm going to what I'll be sharing and what I'm really excited about. All right, I'm actually physically stuck in the spot right now, but I can definitely say those physical sensations that happen that remind me of rape are not there. So this is a good day, and every day is a new day. All right, so be joyful that sometimes trauma actually is the best thing in your life. I know it's kind of fucked up, but it's true. All right, I'm ending this now. So we're going to make a cookie. The first part was the opening to remind myself that every new podcast is going to have a little bit of insight that is going to be the pre-writing, because this is a writing. To end PTSD, I realized a long time ago, is a writing process. It's the thing I've been doing my whole life. I love writing. I gave it to kids with special needs because it's a legal document that protects them. And then I'm going to do a very short reflection under 2 minutes. I'm at 1 minute 30 seconds. So I'm going to end this now. And then I'm going to move. I'm going to tell my body, fucking move. Because my voice over their voices. The shit they called me, absolutely unacceptable. I'm not even going to say what they said because everyone is individualized. Whatever names they called you, let it go. No, press in. And totally.
Actually, you should let it go, but if it's like constantly on audio replay, then you should press in. And that just reminds me to physically do something about it. And just remind yourself, you're not those words. I mean, I've met so many people who are homeless who have these memories and they get angry. They're looking around. They're not looking at you. They're reliving it. It's horrible. I see how their body tenses up. They are sad. They go between emotional incapacity, meaning emotional instability, to kind of like stating their truth and getting it out. But you see their body elevated, arms outstretched sometimes crumpled up into a little ball. I don't know, but all these things vary according to the person. But the thing I always go back to is that therapy session when he's baring his teeth at me, and the first Christmas when someone brings down a onesie. He was so embarrassed, and it was the same behavior. No baring of the teeth, but crumpled up in a little ball defeated. And now he's fighting back. He's going to throw out everything that he knows about you. Well, the only thing he knew about me is that I practice consent and that I do not let anyone near me, that I do not want near me. Like I said, get through this trauma completely, because then I have something to do with the trauma like I used to with teaching, because I was a mandated recorder, and I reported it. I reported it to 2 people who were closely connected, and that's the reason why, there's no magic solution. It wasn't the right person to report it to. So keep reporting it. Don't give up. And those people, if you want to have the conversation with me, fine. But it won't be done privately anymore, because I did tell you. And your words next absolutely affected me, and why as an advocate, you got to pay attention to the words you use. Those words will affect people for life. Unless they get assaulted and they have a traumatic brain injury and they can't keep this stuff in anymore. And chronic pain indicates to someone, to me, that someone is really not, trying to gaslight you. Instead of just saying, listen, I'm really sorry. I accept that responsibility. What can I do to help? Not talking about a legal response. Talking about just being a fucking human being.
Totally recognize that you're just not what they're trying to do and that it's a stupid strategy that's too weak. It's going to fail. I think I'm ready to tackle the mental and verbal and psychological abuses of this because it starts with grooming. And that's why I was first recognizing it when I saw animals grooming each other and someone trying to groom me. And I'm like, I don't need you to touch me. I'm fine. And that's when it happened. So if you have PTSD memories that pop up, can you share them with us? I know it's really difficult, but that is truly the first step. And there's noise behind me, so this recording I cannot use. Okay.
All right, I'm listening to this. I don't hear any noise. So that is the noise that I reported to Yvonne Curran, the neurologist, and she said, I think you might have PTSD based on the not sleeping, not being able to focus because of audio distractions, noises I described as screaming, crying kids, the look of faces of people, and just my body was screaming at me. I was so distracted by the sounds. I could hear the rushing of my blood. I kept having to go back to the imaging that the doctors did to remind myself I'm not internally bleeding anywhere because I literally could hear the rushing of my blood. I remember these strategies because I also thought, thank God I'm special educator. Thank goodness I'm a special educator because I would be freaking out. This is obviously different. And I have a very strong background in science. I like anatomy. And I knew that this was just a temporary moment. The doctors didn't see me struggling when I lost all this weight. And I was just bones, literally. The body eats fat, muscle, and then organ. And I swear to God, they want you to die. And you understand their perspective, everything makes sense. Boom, 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 boom. You don't have to question anything, and then you can finally heal. It's a dark place to go. It's a dark place to be, but thankfully I had the teachers at Alcott College Prep teaching me that they don't give a crap, that lazy is a choice. I didn't know that. Thought it was something like, you don't understand the perspective of these kids, or you don't have my profession with special ed. So that's why we're not communicating. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. I kind of didn't get it. I admit it, I did not get that.
All right, since there's noise behind me, I think I'm going to listen to this. I'm going to write it out for the first time. Listen to myself and write it. Because the thing that you need to do to be successful in life is take notes. That means listening and writing at the same time, and a skill set that I lost. And like I said, the next step is to start researching the things I need to know about. But I do think I am really out of ability. Yeah. I don't have the ability to hold that. So that's why, for the first time ever, I have to be dependent on others. Ugh.
When I say depend on others, I mean depend on them for the best words. I lost all these words, so now I'm going to go out into the world, figure out what I'm going to do. So if I'm able to get on the bus and remove that teacher who sat there and told me about her anxiety all the way to school, never rode the bus again after that, I see the word stand up for disability. I do stand up. Go into that environment. Check it out. After all, this is the first space that you should be able to say anything in, right? Plus, I have a history with stand up. I like it. I used to drag people there and say, this is my favorite place in New York. I still have tickets for stand up comedy. I love it. Anything live. Anything live. All right, all the strategies you need to, well, deal with something which I didn't know I was dealing with. And now I do. And it's better to have the knowledge than not. Or want the knowledge than to be ignorant. What is this knowledge? Well, the ups and downs of life. More. Anyway, I'll be sharing my past relationship because somebody told me an issue they had and I thought it was God's will for me to be with them because I had gone through something similar according to their storytelling. And it wasn't it at all. Well, no, it was God's will because I did remove Neptune. And he got to die a cat, not a scary cat. When he sabotaged his recovery or his ability, that's where the story starts. Verbatim. All right.
That, you shared to me all this weird shit. I'm putting your voices away now. Okay? So the mystery of the leopard print bag. Because this girl was talking about this bag over and over, and I was getting sick of it. And I finally said, you know what? If I buy you a different bag and I explain to you what this is, would this make sense? And I did it, and I explained it, and she got it, and she was so grateful. This emotion popped up, and I witnessed it, and I thought, all right, so will you ever talk about this leopard print bag again? And she never did. She literally understood it, and I thought, all right. So the first person I advocated for, and what I realized was, wow, you can make a lot of difference, good differences, with simply the words you say and the attention you put into any individual, okay? This will be an individualized lesson plan. That's why I can't write it. I tried. It doesn't work. So you're going to have to write it. But I'll give you the template. And I'm a teacher, so the last thing and first thing I'll say is,
I promise.
the first one is done
at the very end of it.
I'm going to model it one time. That doesn't mean I'm going to model. I'm going to model what I want you to do one time. Do exactly what I do.
You will learn how to identify triggers, isolate their sensory, make the best decision for you, and literally flick trauma away anytime it pops up, whether once or 100 times a day. Thank you. I say that, okay, thank you is my period. Hold on, now I'm getting this. Thank you is my period. I say that because it doesn't matter how many times it happens. For me, it was maybe 1,000 times a day. It felt like 60 times an hour, so every minute, multiple times a day, a minute, an hour. I'm like, the frequency is just so insane. And that's why the goal has always been, what can we do to help others get through this? Flick it away. All right, I'm good. And I don't have to talk. Ugh, I've been hating my voice the last week, actually. I hear it. I'm like, this is not me. So, anyway, thanks for listening. All right, we can all be advocates. That just means using facts to make good decisions. So there will be some silence. If you listen to this, there was some silence, and that part I will write out. Today I took a sound walk with someone, and it was really nice, because I think they understood what I was doing. I have to be able to hear my voice for the first time, and I'm losing it. And that's why instead of self-harming, I'm just gonna share. What's the harm in that? If it works, who cares? And it doesn't hurt other people, who really gives? I'm gonna take those notes. Okay, I'm delaying this because I have to tap the button, and tapping does send these reverberations, but I have to remind myself, no, it's way better. So I know that fear does stay in the body. One well-executed effort avoidance every day does stay in the body. But that's it. And that's why. All right? That's her. The body. The woman who used to swear. Keeps the score. During this. That's that book. I meant to read it. I checked it out twice in the library and had to return it because I couldn't get past the first couple paragraphs. I could read it. And everyone knows who she is because everyone said, man, she swears a lot. And that's why when I started swearing, I knew. Oh, no. And it's her. Now I think it's time to pick up that book. That's the book I want to read, not this other crap. So we're going to now donate this other book, Exit Strategy by Eugene Lipoff, which I can't even get through because the person is a phony baloney. All right, thank you. Now that's the end of it. Okay, thank you is the period. I think that's it. Oh, goodbye is how I know we are done. Okay, tap this out and then move. Okay, I got this.